The federal opposition has hit back at suggestions Tony Abbott is avoiding questions on GST for the smaller states. Mr Abbott walked away from journalists yesterday when asked about how South Australia would fare. But the Liberal Senator Abetz has jumped to his defence.
The leader of the opposition spent yesterday touring a South Australian ice factory. He was down to the final question in a press conference when journalists received this frosty goodbye.
Mr Abbott, one last question of interest on the people of South Australia is the GST. You've given an indication that...
Thanks,
Mr Abbott, can I just ask you, you've given an indication that South Australia would be no worse off?
Tony Abbott has previously stated he won't punish the smaller states by stripping them of funding if the coalition wins government. But he hasn't ruled out an overhaul of the GST formula.
I thought it was quite extraordinary that when he had an opportunity to answer questions on the GST and Tony Abbott's plans on the GST, he walked away.
Senator Abetz claims that's untrue.
Given that his press secretary said last question, Mr Abbott answered the last question and then walked off. Mr Abbott in fact does have other commitments to attend to.
Today Mr Abbott was again staying silent on the GST.
On the GST cover, Mr Abbott, Tasmania and South Australia, should they be worried?
Earlier this month, the West Australian Premier Colin Barnett said Mr Abbott had told him he doesn't think it's sensible to hold back strong parts of the economy and prop up weak parts.
It is about time that we had detail from Tony Abbott. Platitudes are not good enough. If you are going to give Western Australia more GST, somebody loses out.
There is no more detail that is required, given that Tasmania won't be disadvantaged. In other words, the system remains as is, and the only party that's suggesting a change is in fact Julia Gillard's.
5 months out from an election, it's a debate that's showing no signs of cooling. Anna Fromberg, ABC News.